I have to use lotion to style my hair because I don't use gel on my hair anymore. Um, so most of the time, my life is unrecognizable to what it used to be. Sometimes I'm not quite sure where I am because of uh, the sense of reality can really get out there sometimes for me. And my heightened awareness causes me to break stuff down to a point where it gets confusing. So sometimes I feel like I'm a ghost and I'm in purgatory and I'm somewhere in between, which is pretty common for me. And I'm trying to get my footing over and over again, trying to remember something important. There could have been plenty of times that I actually did pass away, like even before I was attempting it. So, I don't. When you get to this point, you just start to feel like things get confusing. So I try not to stay focused on that too much, but I go through stages of it. And anyways, this is going to be important for someone. I had been watching YouTube and these videos kept popping up for a purpose. I already know that. It was all about interrogation of murderers and, people that had committed like serious crimes and how they would interrogate them. Well, it went from just like a variety of stuff to um, child abuse and like death of children. So then I started noticing, but even in the other ones, I noticed that, because they point out certain things when they're talking about the interrogations. And one of them was that the person that usually commits a murder or the crime will blame everyone else. And yeah, I can kind of see that because I think people that do stuff like that, they have come to a certain point in their perception of the world, people in general, like they kind of lost an aspect of themselves and it was replaced with something else. So I've been there, but not to the point where they were. And anyways, the ones that we're talking about, like for example, the kids and the abuse and the eventual murder of kids was there were some typical patterns that I picked up on. And I think that's what the videos kept popping up, is so that I could see the pattern and what it was, because that's kind of one of my interests, I guess you could say, but not really like seriously. It's just that that's an aspect of how my mind works. And it was interesting because the people were blaming the kids, like tiny little kids, that they were bad kids. They would always talk about how bad the kid was and how difficult they were, in cases where they were starving the children. It was always they were stealing food from the fridge um, in cases where the kids were being like physically abused. It was, that kid doesn't listen. It was always a reason for why. And then you could just tell that these people were lying, like it was obvious. And uh, I think to myself, like, I'm sure these people that commit these crimes are probably experienced something similar when they were a child as well, or something occurred for them to behave that way. Or, you know, they could have a disability that doesn't allow them to see things clearly, or um, have patience for children, especially if a child is neurodivergent or autistic or something like that. Like some people cannot, they don't understand it. The kid cannot communicate what they need, because a lot of autistic kids go based off of cues, which means you got to do a lot of guiding over and over and over. Um, there's still a lot of guiding for myself. I think a lot of autistic kids don't understand how to really like create a structure for them to be able to move from one thing to the next, and ADHD goes with that, um, to where they can remember what they're doing from one moment to the next. And uh, it's like a learning thing. It's like something that you have to create and figure out what works best for you as you get older. But when you're a young child, you can't communicate any of that. You don't have a way of saying, um, I didn't remember that I had to do that, you know um, especially if they're real young. Kids that are very uh, high energy, stuff like that. Some parents cannot deal with that at all. They want to automatically put them on medication, or they just simply cannot deal with it. They think that the kid is disobeying them, and it really has nothing to do with that, you know. So, anyways, point being, talk about MK Ultra stuff. Like, these people literally in each video were saying the same words over and over again. And not only have I seen this just in those videos, but in general, in a lot of these crime like videos that they post, like even when they have like police officers that show up, and there's some crime or domestic crap going on, and they got the body cams on, and they're recording it and stuff. Like, there's a lot of mind control going on. And how do I know this? Maybe because I've been through it, you know? But I would say that that's probably more for people that understand that. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it causing people to go crazy, kind of like those people that drive into crowds or go assassinate someone out of the blue. And there may be little things here and there that people want to piece together, but ultimately there's something else there, because they're saying the same information, almost like somebody could flip your switch at any point and you might do something like that. So, anyways, and I've heard this story because I've been through the process of, well, if you don't go, towards the light, towards heaven, then you're just going to turn into this monster and this horrible person, and you're, you know, going to turn bad, as if the people telling you this stuff aren't already that. So, yeah, it's like you see a lot of it, especially when you become aware. And you see how many people are repeating the exact same words. And I see it all over social media. I see it in my actual life now. Um, maybe everybody else knows about this, but it's more obvious to me now that this stuff goes on. The same thing with seeing the same face. You know, you see people's like cloned selves, or what do they call them, doppelgangers or whatever, or variations of programmed AI. Whatever it is that you connect with, it's there, you know. It's actually occurring. Um, people talk about just sitting in front of a screen almost like Clockwork Orange, and uh, that's all our experience actually is. And I've seen that reality attached to other realities, part of that reality, you know. So I guess you're reconnecting with the self of the grays, the people that are the beings that are controlling this experience. But it's pretty interesting once you see it. It's like you're trying to be scared. They're trying to scare you but show you at the same time, and then like see if you're going to how you're going to react from that awareness. And that's what it always seems like it is. It's always like some kind of test of how are you going to react to this when you become aware of it. Because they say, oh, people can't handle this, that, and the other, but you really can handle as much as you believe you can handle, is what I'm thinking. I mean, that's kind of been my experience. And since I believe in destiny and that there is a greater awareness that knows all ahead of time and is creating at the same time, which is my awareness, my consciousness, then I'm going to see it like that. That's how I perceive it. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. And that actually got brought up today. Uh, Someone that I was talking to was behaving the same way that these people were. And I have reacted that way with my kids too when they were younger. I'd get really frustrated, like mostly because I didn't have the help I needed. But, you know, like it was a topic quite a bit for me. And sometimes it is now too with my kids, the frustration of certain things. But it's the anger behind it that I think is the deciding factor on how far you're going to go with it. And I had made a decision when my kids were young that I wasn't going to be like my dad.